G'day Year 7s. We're going to jump straight back into our online remote learning. I know a couple of classes started looking at fractions at the end of last term when we were back at school, so we're just going to continue on with that today. We're starting at chapter 2A, so the first part of fractions. Like I said, I know some classes have begun this, but we're just going to start fresh again here. So we're looking at understanding fractions, chapter 2A from our textbook. So before we get really into anything, I'm just going to look at some fractions in everyday life. So sharing food, okay? You're going to hear a lot of things about pizzas, okay? And that's because they're split evenly. It makes understanding fractions a lot easier. So sharing food, dividing one pizza evenly between 4 friends. When you cut a pizza up, it turns into a fraction. Splitting a bill in sports to determine statistics, basketball shooting percentage, shopping, jumper is half price. That's actually also a fraction. Mixing drinks, 1/8 cordial to 7/8 water, time as well, 1.5 hours or 8:45 to 9. These are all fractions that you will have dealt with in your everyday life without actually knowing that they are fractions. Okay, so we're going to move on to our key ideas. Much like we did last time we were learning remotely, I want you to copy these key ideas, the things that I've highlighted. I want you to copy them into your exercise books once the video is done. Okay, so a fraction is a part or portion of a whole. It can be written as one whole number over another. So the numerator over the denominator, separated by a horizontal line. So that's it here. The numerator over your denominator. That's saying we've got 4 parts of 5. So the numerator shows the number of equal parts out of the whole. The denominator shows the total number of parts in the whole. Okay, so I want you to copy that in. Proper fractions have a numerical value less than 1. The numerator in a proper fraction is smaller than the denominator. Okay, you can see these examples here. They're all proper fractions because our numerator is less than our denominator. That means that 3/5, 2/9, 11/15, they are actually all less than 1. Okay, so they are less than 1 whole. Proper fractions have numerical value less than 1. Improper fractions have a numerical value greater than 1. The numerator in an improper fraction is larger than the denominator. Some examples include 7/2, 9/5, 31/8. So you can see here, our top number, which is our numerator, is actually larger than our denominator, which is the bottom number. Improper fractions have a numerical value greater than 1. Mixed numbers also have a numerical value greater than 1. They contain a whole number and a proper fraction component. Some examples are 4 2/3, 7 1/8, 6 12/17. There's your examples there. Mixed numbers also have a numerical value greater than 1. What this is, and we'll get into a little bit more detail further on in this video, but this large number at the front, that shows how many wholes we have. So the 4, the 7, and the 6. They're whole groups. So with the 4, that's saying we've got 4 groups of 3. With that 7, it's saying we've got 7 groups of 8. And with that 6, it's saying we've got 6 whole groups of 17. We'll get into more detail with that further on in the video. Just wanted to point that out. Whole numbers can be written as fractions. For example, 2/2 is 1 whole. 9/3, that's saying we've got 3 groups of 3, which makes it 3 as a whole. So on and so forth. So there's some examples there as well. So I want you to copy those key ideas into your workbook once we've finished this video. We're going to move on. So these are examples of some questions you will be getting. Okay. What fraction of this shape is shaded? First, what you need to do is count how many fractions or how many parts this shape has been broken into. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's going to be over 16 because there are 16 parts in total. What we then need to do is count how many have been shaded. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that fraction is 7/16. So we've got 7 shaded parts over our 16 total parts. Okay, shape is divided into 16 segments. 7 of the 16 are shaded. The fraction of the shape that is shaded is 7 over 16. Okay, so they're the first couple of questions that you'll have from our textbook. They're pretty self-explanatory. It's about working out how many parts your shape has been broken into, and then how many of those parts are shaded. Now we're moving on into converting mixed numbers into improper fractions. So like I said, let's look at 2 and 2 sevenths. 2 and 2 over 7. This is saying, so this large 2 here is saying that we've got 2 whole groups of 7 already. Okay, so you've got 7 there, and then you've got 2 left over. To convert this into an improper fraction, there are 2 ways you can do it. We can look at it first of all, like they've done in the example, which is here. Write the mixed number as a sum of whole number and a fraction. So you've got 2 plus 2 sevenths. So you've got 1 whole group of 7 there, 1 whole group of 7 there, and then 2 left over. Do it that way. All you need to do is add them up. So 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 2 gets you to 16 over 7. Okay, so you can do it that way, where you add them all up, and that becomes your improper fraction. There is another way to do it as well. Okay, 2 and 2 over 7. What I like to do is when you've got a mixed number and you're converting to an improper fraction, our answer is always going to be over whatever our original denominator was. In this case, it is 7. Okay, what we can do, we can go 7 times 2. So you start at your denominator, you go 7 times the whole numbers that you've got there, so the large number. That's 7 times 2, which gets you to 14. And then you add the extra 2. Okay, so 7 times 2 gets you to 14, plus 2 gets you to 16 over 7. Okay, I'll do another example as well that hopefully should explain it again. Once I get the eraser going, there we go. Okay, so if we had, let's say we have the fraction 4 and 3 over 5. What I would suggest you do is you go 4 times 5, which is 20. 4 times 5, 20, plus the 3, gets you to 23. So 4 times 5 is 20, plus 3, 23 over 5. Is that saying you've got 4 groups of 5? So 5, 10, 15, 20, and then you've got that 3 left over here. So it becomes 23 over 5. And that is converting a mixed number to an improper fraction. What I want you guys to do, if you're still struggling a little bit with that, that's absolutely okay. When you speak to your teacher, I would like you to ask if you need a little bit more of a hand explaining that. So there are 2 ways to do it. I find it easier if we multiply our denominator, which is here, by that whole number, by the large number we've got, and then you add what you've got on top, and that becomes your 23. So 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 3 gets you to 23, and the denominator, which is the number on the bottom, does not change at all. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to move on. So that's converting a mixed number to an improper fraction. What we then have is converting an improper fraction into a mixed number. Okay, and again, there are a couple of ways that we can do this. We'll go through the one that's been given as an example first, and then I'll explain another way to do it as well. Convert the improper fraction 25 over 8 to a mixed number. So what we need to do is we need to work out how many whole groups of 8 there are in 25. As 8s make a whole group, 25 8s into 3 lots of 8 and 1 8 is left over. So what you need to do is work out how many 8s work going to 25 without going over 25. Okay, so if we've got, we'll go through our 8s, we've got 8, 16, 24. If we go another 8, it's going to go over 25. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 whole groups of 8. 3. Okay, and then we got to 24. What's left over to get to 25? 1. 3 and 1 remainder. Let's get rid of that. 3 and 1 remainder, 1 over 8. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. You can work out, get to the number without going over it. All right, so how many 8s are in 25? You've got 3 whole 8s, which is what we're using as our whole number here. So you've got 8, 16, 24. What are you left with to get to 25? You're left with 1 here. So that's what you've got as a remainder. And then your denominator is still 8. That stays the way it is. Okay, so that's one example. I'll do another example as well. If we have, let's go 28 over 6. Okay, what we need to do is work out how many whole groups of 6 are in 28. So let's count up. We'll count up by our 6s. You've got 6, 12, 18, 24. If I go another 6, it's going to get me to 30. And that's over 28. So I cannot do that. So you've got to go to before you go over your number. So you've got 6, 12, 18, 24. How many is that? That's 4 whole groups of 6. You've got 4 wholes. Okay. Then what do you got left over? To get from 24 to 28, you've got 4. So you've got 4 wholes and then 4 remainder, or 4 over 6. Okay, so it's just need to stress that we do not go over our numerator. You want to get to before that numerator without going over it. Okay, in as many groups as possible. I'll do one more example. If we had 17 over 3. Okay, how many groups of 3 go into 17? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. If I go one more, if I go to 18, I've gone over 17. So I cannot do that. So we're going to strip it back to 15. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You've got 5 whole groups of 3. And what have I got left over? If I've got to 15, I've got 2 left over. So you've got 5 and 2/3. Okay. Now, the good thing about improper fractions and mixed numbers is you can work backwards. Okay, to check if your answer is correct. We've just converted an improper fraction to a mixed number. You can use the same strategy to work out your answer. So if we went back to converting a mixed number to an improper, you go 5 times 3, which is 15, plus the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 equals 17 over 3. So that's a way you can check your answer if you want to, just to double check that it's correct. Okay, now that's all we've got for our first video today. If you have any questions, I want you to ask your teacher that you've got, and they should be able to help you out. I'm also not going to let you know what questions I want you to do, because that's going to be up to your teacher as well. However, this is just a video to show the examples of what you will be doing in chapter 2A. So if you do have any questions, please ask your teacher and they will help you out. Thanks, guys.